This podcast is brought to you by Body Armor. DrinkBodyArmor.com. Only you can be better.
Calling it a day, Carrie?
Oh no, there's more.
Like what?
More reps, more steps. More this, more that. More time to breathe. More hustle, more grind.
There's more to Carrie Underwood.
And I should wrap by midnight.
Impressive.
And there's more to Body Armor Light with natural sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories.
You're listening to EPPN's Today with DW.
Welcome, everybody, to the Thursday night edition of Today with DW. How is everybody doing? How's your week been going? Usually on Wednesdays, I ask what you guys are doing, but if you missed last night's episode, it didn't go like that. If you did miss it, you can obviously see the replay here on my personal page or on Today with DW show podcast page. I had some good friends in the house. A longtime friend, Ken Lytle. He's been on the network a few years ago, but figured to get him back in. And of course, a fellow podcaster and also good friend, James Hood. So we came in and did a Radio Ugly reunion. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. There was no segments. As much as I tried to try to do this, Ken pretty much took over the entire show, which is fine. It was fine, but so we were going to do some segments and whatnot. But yeah, they took over the show, so it was fun though. It was a good time. And if you don't want to watch it and you want to listen in your car, go check out the audio version, which is out also today on any of your favorite podcast apps. Just plug in Earplug Podcast and search for Today with DW. We're on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Satchel, anywhere, we're everywhere. Any of your favorite podcast apps, we're there. So just check that out. But it was a great time. I had a good time. It's been a long time since Ken and I have actually sat down and chatted for a long time, actually, for in length anyway. So it was a good time. But again, it kind of threw me off. Just because I had everything planned. I had special segments just for the guys. Because usually what I do for the show, obviously, there's the More You Know, Hollywood Happening, sometimes Food Town, Junk Drawer, Strange Tales, asking for a friend kind of thing. But when I have a guest on, I try to tailor those segments for the guests so that they kind of can be a part of it. Obviously, Strange Tales, there is no tailoring it for guests. It's just Strange Tales. It's just crazy stuff. But like the More You Know, which we'll get into in a little bit, like Today in History. So yesterday it was just all music oriented because both of them are very heavy into music. If you remember, if you didn't listen, Ken started Radio Ugly years ago, and that's pretty much how I got my bug being a podcaster. Him and Kevin Smith really influenced me to do what I do now. And I have my 3 o'clock in the morning voice going on. So I tailored it to that, tailored it to their likes and their interests. So that's what I try to do with the guests. And you know what? If for other podcasters out there that maybe have even if it's an interview one-on-one or if it's a show similar to like mine, like as a radio show, take the time to tailor some of those segments that you have as a guest for a guest. That makes them more into the show, that makes them feel a part of the show. Don't just do a standard thing. And when you're doing music, when that person doesn't know music, or don't do, pop culture, if that person doesn't know anything about comic books or movies, really try to tailor to your guests. And that's some of the things that we talk about here at the podcast studio, Earplug Podcast Studio, when podcasters come in. These are some of the tidbits and some of the information that I give to our future podcasters of, some of the tips and tips of the trade per se on, how to make your guests feel welcomed and important on your show, not just, bring them on, ask them a bunch of questions and just go, try to tailor the show for them as well. I've joked before that when I do the rants, hopefully we'll be bringing that back soon, but with COVID, it's kind of hard with guests. I don't necessarily like to do it remotely because we have done that remotely, which we can do here for any of our podcasters or even with any guests, but there's something to be said about having some guests in the studio. Some of the guests I have obviously live in other parts of the country, so it has to be remote. But I really like the one-on-one interviews, the rant, with the person in the studio. There's something to be said about having the person there, and it kind of loses something when you're on a remote. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but there's not that good vibe. There's no really good flow. There's always a 3-second, 4-second delay. Obviously more issues going on with tech and whatnot, but if they're in the studio, it definitely goes much smoother. But I got another tip, but we can do remote. We can do whatever you want. I mean, that's what we do here at the studio. If you want to know more, if you are listening and ever thought about podcasting, hit me up at earplugpodcast@gmail.com. That's what the studio does. And even if you're not in locally, if you're not locally in upstate New York, Glens Falls, New York, again, we can do it remote. I can control your show and help you get going right through our software here. And you could do it from any state. I mean, that's where we're an all-state studio. Any country. I mean, yeah. Even if you're from the UK or Canada, wherever, we can still set you up with your own podcast and help you going with that. So I'm wondering why I still have my 3 o'clock in the morning voice going on. What's going on, Jen? How are you? Thank you for joining. Usually we do, but what are you guys doing for the weekend? Now, I usually ask that on Wednesdays. I always like to ask what you guys are doing for the weekend. Put it in the comments below. Please tell me if you're here, say hi, because I'm only monitoring my Facebook page. I'm not monitoring the YouTube or the Today with DW show podcast Facebook page. So if you do pop in, just come in, say hi, and join in on the conversation. I love having you guys talk and interact with me as the show goes on. It's great for the listeners that aren't watching live, which, why aren't you watching live? You should be watching live. So again, you can, if you're friends with me on Facebook, it's on my personal page, or over on Today with the DW show podcast page, Facebook page, or on our Earplug podcast YouTube page, and join us. I just love having all the comments and interactions during the show. Like I said, the show is more for you, or it's more your show than it is mine. But again, what are you guys doing for the weekend? Let me know what you guys are doing. You have anything fun planned? How you guys doing through COVID? You hanging in there? Are you guys back to work? Some of you got your jobs back. Let me know. I'd like to know how everybody's doing with through these times that we're going into spring. So some states are loosening up with COVID. Some aren't. Let me know how you're doing. Love to know. So you know what? Instead of hearing me ramble on, why don't we get into today's show, huh? So I'm going to, on today's show, going to keep you up to date as well with the more you know. Car thieves thwarted by rocks. Lawyer, pants on fire, and strange tales. Transformer star quits the Hollywood happening and quits the biz and Hollywood happenings, and so much more. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Russo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Dinah Taurasi.
I'm Ryan Blaney.
And I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
Welcome back, everybody. Thursday night edition of Today with DW. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are having a great week. I keep asking everybody what they're doing for the weekend, and I'm sure some of you are like, well, what are you doing for the weekend? I am doing nothing for the weekend. I try to unplug at least Friday night, halfway through Sunday or so. But no, I have nothing planned this weekend. I'll probably do some podcasting uploads or whatnot for some of our other shows. And speaking of that, you know what? I never really say much about the other shows on the network. I should really tell you that the network, I mean, I love that you guys are watching my show and listening to my show in the audio version, but we have so many other amazing shows on the network. Grindhouse Radio with Brim, Kim, Zambo, and Mr. Greer. You know, Mr. Greer, he's a co-host also on our sports edition on Tuesday nights with Snacks. Anchor Geeks, awesome pop culture show with Louis Perry and Jamie Dolan. Awesome show. Faces and Heels with Louis Perry and Jack Purcell. It's a wrestling podcast. It's awesome. Random Guy with Phil and Carmen. What else I mean, obviously today with DW. There's other past shows like my 60 Seconds, The Rant with DW, many others. Check it out. Go over to earplugpodcast.com and check out. There's something for everyone on that show. There's so many. Go back and watch any of the old or listen to any of the old podcasts. I mean, the Ming and Mike show, they haven't potted in a while, but there's a lot of episodes, past episodes on there as well. If you're not familiar, the Ming and Mike are from AMC's Comic Book Men. Check their show out. It's really fun. I think there's something that you guys would all enjoy. So let's get right into today's The More You Know. Today's The More You Know is brought to you by the Shirt Factory. Visit shirtfactorygf.com for all the awesome shops and events that they have going on here. It's upstate New York and Glens Falls, New York. And they have a brand new event coming up called 2021 Winter Meltdown Spicy Food Day. It's on Saturday, March 20th. It starts at 10 a.m. Admission is free. If you're not familiar, they hold during the summer. They hold one of the largest food truck corrals in upstate New York. Outside with face painting, pony rides, bounce houses, live music, beer tastings. Well, since it is a little cold and with COVID, they're doing this special event, moving everything on the inside and going to have the vendors on the inside. So they will also have social distancing procedures and policies in place. Everything will be set apart. You have to wear masks unless you're eating. Everything's going to be all set up. And we'll give you more information as they give it to us on the exact vendors and who's going to be there. I think that's going to be a good time. So we're thinking about even podcasting from there. So we'll let you know if that all works out, because I'd love to do that. And we'll be able to talk to the vendors and whatnot. Maybe that would be a special today. We do DW Food Town segment, like on location. I think that would be kind of cool. So let's get right into today's The More You Know. 27 days until St. Patrick's Day. You guys excited about St. Patrick's Day? I've never been a big fan of St. Patty's Day. Not, I don't know. It's like amateur hour. It's like New Year's Eve, 4th of July, any of the drinking holidays, Labor Day, Memorial Day. 30 days until spring. I can't wait. 45 days until Easter. 80 days until Mom's Day. 102 days until Memorial Day. And lastly, 136 days. 136 days to 4th of July. And lastly, 200 days until Labor Day. Today's national holiday is National Crab Stuffed Flounder Day. I don't think I've ever had that. I'm not a big crab. Well, I do like crab legs, but I'm not sure if I'm a big stuffed flounder. I don't know. I'll have to try it. I don't know. I've never had it, so I really can't say. Crab and flounder takes center stage on today when National Crab Stuffed Flounder Day arrives each year. The day recognizes the unique, flavorful delight when crab and flounder are combined. This one-of-a-kind dish is composed of stuffing made with crab meat, breadcrumbs, butter, seasonings, and seasoning, which is stuffed into the whole flounder or rolled up into the fillets and baked. It sounds good. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll make that. Maybe I'll try that as a new recipe. And today is also National Drink Wine Day. One of my good friends and listener, he's a how do you say that? Sommelier? He's a wine expert. Let's put it that way. Wine does have its benefits after all. Moderate drinkers of wine have lower risks of liver disease, type 2 diabetes, certain kinds of cancers, heart attack, and strokes. It also can reduce the bad cholesterol and increase the good. So there you go. I'd have to say everything's good in moderation. I mean, you can overdo things. I mean, fast food might be the exception where even that might not be good for it. But every now and then you got to have a cheeseburger, right? Today in history, in 1735, the first opera performed in America, Flora, in Charleston, South Carolina, was performed. 1879, sculptor Frederick Augusta Bartholdi, is awarded a patent for his design of the Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty, or in full liberty enlightening the world, was first proposed by the French thinker Edward Rene we're just going to finish that. Edward Rene. I'm not going to finish the last name. As a gift from the French people to America and to commemorate the abolition of slavery. Designed by the French sculptor Frederick, construction began in 1870 with Gustave Eiffel designing and building the interior metal framework. The statue was completed in France before being disassembled and shipped to America in 1885. It was then reassembled in what was then called Bedloe Island, now Liberty Island, in New York Harbor, and dedicated by President Grover Cleveland in 1886. The statue depicts Liberty striding over with a torch raised in her right hand. Her left holds a tableau santo with the date of the Declaration of Independence. Emma Lazarus' poem, The New Colossus, composed to raise money for the statue, was inscribed inside the pedestal in 1903 with the famous lines, "Give me, you're tired, you're poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." The monument is now not only a symbol of liberty, but of the city of New York and America itself. It became UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984. 1885, Mark Twain publishes The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn for the first time in the U.S. 1930, cow was flown in, milked, sealed in paper containers, and parachuted. I left it vague like that because I want you guys to research this because that's kind of fun. And we got this is a good one here. Let's tune this down just a little bit, and we're gonna play a little bit of this because in 1966.
I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. I hear the sound of a gentle word on the wind.
Beach Boy Brian Wilson recorded the future classic song Good Vibrations.
And I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitation.
Which went on to become the band's third U.S. #1 hit. As a child, his mother told him that dogs could pick up vibrations from people, so that the dog would bark at bad vibrations. Wilson turned this into the general idea for the song. How cool is that? That is pretty cool. I think that is pretty cool. My mom raised dogs and showed dogs, and she said that animals were a good judge of character. Maybe it is the vibrations. Any friends that came over to the house, if the dogs didn't like them, my mom didn't like them. So a lot of my friends didn't like my mom. So there you go. 1970, U.S. President Richard Nixon launches the Nixon Doctrine. 1979, snow falls in Sahara Desert. Why I bring that up? Because Texas is going through that, and we got some Texas news and strange tales. But they were getting hit. Power outages and the state of emergency is just crazy. 1986, anti-smoking ads air for the first time on TV, featuring Yul Brynner, who ended up dying of smoke-induced lung cancer on October 10th of 1985. And well, we got another. Do we have another music one here? We do have another one here. Let's turn this down for this one, and then we're gonna do this one.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man.
1990, Freddie Mercury made his final public appearance on stage when he joined the rest of Queen to collect the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to Music, held at the Dominion Theatre in London, England. Let's get a little more of this.
Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood.
And there you go. That is today's The More You Know. Everybody, thank you for joining me on the Thursday night edition of Today with DW. How you guys doing? Let me know. I'm going to keep asking until somebody answers me. What's going on, Rob? Hope you're feeling well. Yes. Speaking of that, it seems that both of us had ice accidents today. Rob slipped and fell and cut his hand on ice. I slipped and fell and really screwed up my shoulder pretty bad. So I'm sadly going to have to take a few days off from working out because it's not feeling so hot right now. Yes, I don't know what happened. I didn't cut myself or get stitches, but yeah, it's been a rough day. It's wintertime. It happens, especially getting older. What happened? It's mentally I don't feel old, but my body sometimes is just like, what the hell are you doing to yourself? Especially with working out so much. But anyway, let me know what you guys are doing for the weekend. Like I said, I'm going to keep asking until somebody tells me what they're going to do for the weekend. And it better be something fun. I hope you're doing something better than I am. So like every show too, right after we do the Today the More You Know, we like to get into some strange tales.
Now, EPPN presents Today with DW's Strange Tales.
Texas mayor quits after saying residents are lazy amid power outages. What a genius! This guy's a gem. Texas mayor has resigned. Colorado City announced his come on now. Wait a minute. I'm misreading the own. So he writes a letter through a tweet and puts it out publicly. He says, no one owes you or your family anything, nor is it the local's government responsibility to support you during times like this. Sink or swim, it's your choice, he wrote. The city and county, along with power providers of any other service, owes you nothing. If you have no water, you deal without and think outside the box to survive and supply water for your family, he added. If you were sitting at home in the cold because you have no power and are sitting there waiting for someone to come rescue you because you're lazy, as a direct result of your raising. I am sorry that you have been dealing without electricity and water. Yes, but I'll be damned if I'm going to provide for anyone that is capable of doing it themselves. Boyd continued in the post. Bottom line, quit crying and looking for a handout. Get off your ass and take care of your own family. How does anybody write this? Nice. Cigarettes, cigars, and whiskeys with friends. It's been a long time since I had a cigar, Rob. That'd be awesome. Who writes this crap, especially an official? Later in a separate post, Boyd apologized, saying he was quitting his job as mayor and that he won't be running for re-election. You think? He also wrote, I would never want to hurt the elderly or anyone that is in true need of help to be left to fend for themselves, the former mayor wrote. I was only making a statement for those folks that are too lazy to get up and fend for themselves but are capable and should not be dealt a handout. I apologize for the wording and some of the phrases that were said. Yeah, okay, whatever, buddy. Great officials. This guy, there's definitely, even if he did decide to run again, you know damn well he's not going to have, who's going to vote for him? That's ridiculous. Government's crazy right now. Japanese train driver falls asleep at the wheel. How scary is that? How would you even know, though? I mean, they are pretty much automated, but how scary is that? These things are like, especially in Japan, those things, their bullet trains are going fast. Japanese trains are globally renowned for being clean, efficient, and safe. However, as this story out of Tokyo this week shows us, it's not always the case. Just before 1 p.m., a passenger who alighted a Akabokoro station saw that the driver of a train dozing at the controls at Subway Railway was made aware of the incident after the passenger filmed the driver who was operating a semi-express train on the Shibo Akaburo line. I know I'm killing that name. I apologize. Upon questioning by company staff, the driver, aged in his 20s, admitted to falling asleep multiple times over the space of about 17 minutes. This occurred between 12:35 and 12:52, while the train traveled from Hoya Station to Ikebukuro Station in Tokyo. Shibu Railway says a warning sound is sounded in the driver's seat every time the train approaches a station stop, and the driver operated the train properly at these 3 stations along the route from Hoyo to Akaburo without incident, meaning there was no negative impact on operations. So it's kind of, I guess it's automated, right? I mean, I'm not a train operator, but it's so you can sleep in between stations. It can't be worse than a pilot falling asleep on an airliner. Anyway, they also wrote, this is scary. Now I'll be wondering what the driver's doing when I take the train tomorrow, one of the passengers said. With over 700 people on board, this was way too dangerous. The driver has the most important role in the team, so I hope the company provides them with adequate rest breaks. Passengers should be the only ones snoozing on the train, not the driver. Some people are prone to drowsiness due to the rocking motion of the train, so I hope they keep an eye on the driver to make sure this doesn't happen again. The railway issued an apology over the incident, saying they verbally reprimanded the driver and issued strict guidance on the weight of responsibility taking care of customers' lives. Well, they failed to mention whether or not the driver will be allowed to continue shouldering that responsibility at the controls of the railway trains in the future. The company assures us that they are taking proper precautions to ensure this incident doesn't occur again. That's kind of scary. But how would you know, though? Because there's no cameras there, but I guess if you're at the station, you see that. But how could he be dozing at the station when the alarm goes off? That maybe there should be rules. I know, like, if you are a truck driver, there's a minimum amount of hours. You can't drive more than 8 hours at a time, I believe. I've known people that got pulled over to ask where they're coming from, and they were told to rest. I'm sure there's also the same with doctors. The doctors were working so many hours and being tired and really being groggy during surgeries. Same thing with airline pilots. Kasha Lenhart, model ex-girlfriend of soccer star Jerome Boateng, found dead. The ex-girlfriend of soccer star Jerome Boateng has been found dead 1 week after he announced they split up. The police report says. Kasha Lenhart, who rose to fame after appearing on Germany's Next Top Model in 2012, was found dead by Berlin police in a home Tuesday. Investigators are not treating her death as suspicious yet. Berlin police told Bein a lifeless person was found in the city's upscale Schartenberg section late Tuesday, and the investigators believe Lenhart took her own life. Yesterday at around 8:30 p.m., there was a police operation in Schartenberg on suspicion of suicide. Berlin police told the reporters there are no indications of third-party negligence. Lenhart is survived by a son. The outlet reported her boy Noah is from a previous relationship Lenhart's that ended 3 years ago. 25-year-old started dating the Bayern Munich defender more than a year ago when they broke up on February 2nd, when Boateng, 32, confirming the breakup to his nearly 7 million Instagram followers and in a since deleted post. So why would he delete that? Is it out of respect or Boateng also apologized to the mother of his children, Rebecca, saying he was disappointed in himself as well. Man has to take responsibility and act in the interest of his family, and I'm doing it now. I wish Kasha all the best. The Polish native crashed Boateng's Mini Cooper last month, leading to a public spat, and Lenhart, who reported had Jerome tattooed on her torso, had previously said she ended their relationship due to the World Cup winner's lies and constant infidelity. So athletes can do that. I'm wondering, though. Well, I'll keep you up to date on that, and I'll let you guys know if there was any other third-party involvement on that. And there was no reason why they said that she committed suicide, and there was no other. No, I do not remember the train crash in Spain, Rob. I do not remember that one. If you're listening to the audio version, I'll be chatting with our followers and listener or watchers on our live feed on the Today with DW Show podcast page. DC owners and construction workers chase off car thieves by throwing rocks, making noise, and opening their coats to look bigger. What's that? What bird is that? Like peacocks, they've ruffled their feathers. Apes do the that was another bird. It's not the chicken. There's another bird that just kind of ruffles up and makes themselves look bigger than they are. Car thieves and carjacking are on the rise in the district and across the nation. DC Police Chief Robert Chante III announced a task force on Tuesday to curb the trend, which includes a 51% rise in car thefts within the last 6 months. However, one couple in Northwest and their construction crew were determined to avoid becoming a statistic on Tuesday, and they did it with nothing but rocks at their disposal. An exclusive interview with Fox, Evan Lambert, Anna McKee said that the trio of thieves sped away in a getaway car, but not before they were scared away. They said three guys, and they hopped out and were breaking into one of our construction workers' cars. So we ran to our house and called down to everyone to come help. That's when McKee says her husband and construction crew ran to stop the thieves. They escaped with valuable tools, but stopped from potentially swiping a work truck as the crew was throwing rocks at them and shouting at them. According to the homeowners, events unfolding at Connecticut Kiwanis streets. I'm blown away. This happened in the middle of the day on a work day, McKenna said. The task force consists of teams of detectives specialized in robberies and violent crimes that will focus on carjacking cases in the district and hold those responsible for committing these crimes accountable. Police say the most effective way to stop thefts involving vehicles is simply lock your car. Well, it's not necessarily that simple anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about? But that's pretty cool. Literally, they're just screaming. They were like the mob. It was like a mob. It's a mob of angry rock throwers. I thought that's pretty cool, though. Gotta always love when the lawyers are in the news. Well, this turns out to be come back and burn them in the ass. No pun intended. Miami lawyer whose pants caught on fire during arson trial is arrested on cocaine charges. Wow, this guy's got couldn't happen to a better person, I guess. The Miami lawyer who drew worldwide notoriety after his pants caught on fire during an arson trial has been arrested on a cocaine charge. Stephen Gorettes, 32, whose law license is currently revoked, was pulled over Monday night near Worcester and arrested on a felony cocaine charge. According to a Miami-Dade police report, he was pulled over for driving without a working headlight. An officer saw a bulge in his pocket and believed it was a knife. turned out to be a metal cylinder with white powder inside. Cortez spontaneously blurted out, "That's cocaine." Okay, of course he's going to admit it. Cortez was jailed briefly Tuesday morning before posting bond. He did not answer his cell phone Tuesday for any comments. The arrest adds to the mounting woes for Perez, who was ordered suspended for 91 days by the Florida Supreme Court in November. In March 2017, Perez was representing a Miami man accused of torching his own car for insurance money. In a story first reported by the Miami Herald, Cortez was arguing to jurors that the blaze might have been caused by spontaneous combustion when flames and smoke began billowing from his own pants. Cortez went running out of the courtroom as bewildered jurors and spectators watched. He blamed a faulty battery in his electronic cigarette for igniting his pocket at a coincidental time. The episode generated national and international headlines. After an investigation, Miami-Dade prosecutors said it seems obvious the fire was a stunt or a demonstration meant to illustrate the feasibility of a spontaneous combustion theory of defense. But they did not charge Cortez, saying they could not prove he acted with criminal intent. Cortez pleaded guilty to Florida bar violations, including filing a bogus insurance claim related to the arson case. His license was revoked in November. In pleading guilty, he blamed his conduct on myriad of personal problems and attributed the stunt to a lack of experience and complete understanding of true meaning of zealous advocacy, rather than his honest or selfish motive. Might be because maybe he was doing cocaine before the court case. I don't know. Now, we've talked about the Gorilla Glue girl. We didn't really report on him because it was just, I think, how do I put this? It's beyond strange. It's dumb news. But she is in the news later down the road, but we did not report this. But guess what? Now there's a Gorilla Glue challenge, and guess where this is coming from? TikTok. Louisiana man tries Gorilla Glue challenge with a cup, ends up in the hospital. In a bizarre incident, a Louisiana man ended up in the hospital after he glued a cup to his lips to prove that reports about Tessica Brown, who applied Gorilla Glue to her hair, were false. When Len Martin decided to take up the glue challenge to prove that Brown was making the story up, little did he expect himself to go through a similar ordeal. The incident occurred days after a Louisiana-based Brown went viral on social media for using Gorilla Glue to style her hair when she ran out of her hairspray. It's just dumb. Her experiment backfired, and she soon found herself undergoing a 4-hour-long procedure to get rid of the adhesive. While Martin expected to get rid of the glue by licking it off, that did not happen. I thought that chick with the Gorilla Glue was making that story up, but no, it's real. I don't know why I even tried it. Now they're talking about cutting the tip of my lips off in surgery. Y'all pray for me. Oh, boy. No, I'm not praying for you. You're an idiot. And don't start a GoFundMe account. And people who start the GoFundMe accounts for those weird, stupid things, why do you pay for this? We'll talk more about that later, but why do you pay? Why? You're just endorsing this, the idiots. Another carjacking right here in Philadelphia. Carjacking victim shoots suspect in head in Center City, Philadelphia, police said. Carjacking suspect is fighting for his life after a victim managed to turn the tables on him. The suspect was found shot twice in the head inside a stolen Chevy sedan on Monday. After 3 hours later, police responded to the 7th Ave, where a shooting victim was found inside the same vehicle that was reported stolen just hours earlier. However, 20 minutes before that, there were reports of another attempted carjacking a few streets down the road, where the suspect tried to rob somebody who was armed with a gun. Right before we found the shooting victim on 7th Ave around 8:40 p.m., there was another robbery at 18th in Caldwell, where the victim of the robbery with a permit to carry a gun pulled a gun and fired some shots. He believes that he struck one of the perpetrators in the head, a police officer said. There's possibility that shooting victim who was found in the stolen car from the other robbery may have been shot during the robbery at the 18th Street location, since it happened during the same time frame. People aren't taking shit. Now, I always wondered that. My grandfather said, if you're going to shoot somebody robbing you, you better be dead and leave them in the house. Don't shoot them outside your house. I think that's an old-time law. I'm not really sure about that. But what happens with that? I mean, not that I'm condoning shooting people for stealing things and whatnot, but what if it was self-defense? I've never really understood the laws and how that works. And that is today's Strange Tales. Brought to you by Chase Sports Complex. Visit chasesportscomplex.com for all their great activities and events and what they have going on there. They just expanded to a full volleyball court, more batting cages. They also have a full-size soccer field, plus with other batting cages. There's a gym in there, Outcast Athletics, and a bunch of other awesome businesses in that building. So check them out, sportscomplex.com. I'm kind of tongue-tied tonight. But yeah, getting back to that, I'm definitely not a lawyer, and I don't really know all the rules, but, if I guess he was allowed to have the gun, so he's got a permit. And if the guy dies, does he go to jail for manslaughter? I mean, he's taking his property. I mean, he's defending himself. I know it's not the Old West anymore, but I always like to know what happens with that. We've never seen. I've done Strange Tales now for a while. I have yet to see. There's never the outcome. Like the person who shot the criminal or the thief, he didn't go to jail. I've never read a report. It just kind of like disappears, or they said he did go to jail. So it's kind of weird. If you're just joining us, it is the Thursday edition of Today with DW. I'm just hanging out. I'm a little tongue-tied today. It is Thursday. One more day till the weekend. Cigars and whiskey with friends, huh, Rob? I'm jealous. I haven't had a cigar in a long time. Excuse me. I'm taking a drink of Body Armor. Visit drinkbodyarmor.com for a location near you. They just put out a new product called Body Armor Edge. It is their new energy drink. We did a tasting review on the Tuesday night edition. It's amazing. Check it out. And again, thank you so much to Body Armor for being our longtime sponsor. They've pretty much been our sponsor almost from day one. So let's get right into our next segment. Oh, tomorrow we have tomorrow's going to be we're going to be traveling to Food Town tomorrow. Myself and Rob are working on a special segment that won't be for a special little segment in Food Town, but that won't be tomorrow. But we are going to bring Food Town back. I know people have been asking, are you going to do Food Town this week? Is it something every week? It's not going to be necessarily every week. It depends on what I find through my travels. And, I might find a couple articles this week and then a couple articles next week and kind of group it all together. So you don't have to do a drive through town. You don't have to drive through town and you're in and out. You can stay a while and enjoy it. So we're going to be bringing the Food Town segment tomorrow, but we're going to have some Hollywood happenings. Emma Stone, have you seen her as Cruella de Vil in the new Disney trailer? It looks really good. Now, Emma Stone is going to be starring in Disney's Cruella, a live-action prequel to 101 Dalmatian. It's the origin story of one of the most notoriously fashionable villains, Cruella de Vil. Cruella is set in the 1970s London amidst the punk rock revolution. Now, if you've seen these pictures, she looks, it's Emma Stone. Yeah, it's Emma Stone. What can you say about that? But she looks really good. She almost kind of looks like if Harley Quinn was in the 70s in a way. She's got the makeup, she's got the hair, she's wearing masks. But anyway, when the trailer's opening, Emma Stone has bright red hair and says, "From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else. That didn't sit well with some people, but I wasn't for everyone." Stone's last words in the trailer are, "The thing is, I was born radiant, born bad, and a little bit mad. I'm Cruella." The film is due out May 28th of this year. We hope. Now, I would assume with everything that's going on, especially with Disney is doing a lot of simultaneous releases where they're releasing movies in the theater and on their streaming platform. Now, we know that Black Widow has been postponed. It may be postponed again, but right now they're saying it's going to be coming out in May in only theaters, but that could change. Regal Cinemas reported on this months ago that they filed Chapter 11, so they're out of commission. They're done. They're gone. Alamo and IMAX, and there's one other one that are having same problems. I'm not sure what's going to happen. With COVID and everything, will they release? Well, if it releases, it kind of lightens up. Will people want to go back to the theaters? That's another thing. I'll put that question out there right now. Once everything's cleaned up or whatever, how long will you wait until you go back to the movie theater? Or will you wait or not go back? Right now, you get a 65, 82-inch TV, really inexpensive, some nice comfy chairs, and you have your own little home theater in your house where you don't want to be like apocalyptic, but you're safe, you're sound, you're not paying $10 for a small bag of popcorn and then taking a loan out because you got to get juju beads and Sour Patch Kids and and a big gulp. It's crazy for the amount of money. And do you think because they've been hurting all year, will theaters raise the prices? There's some theaters that are still open. Are they going to raise it? I mean, it's $12.50 to go watch a movie. I don't know. Didn't want to turn it into a rant. Let's see what else we got in Hollywood news. Singer-songwriter. This is poor LaBeouf. Singer-songwriter filed lawsuit against Shia LaBeouf last December, in which she outlined claims of verbal and physical abuse. FKA Twigs on Thursday opened up to Gayle King on her TV show and said that her ex Shia LaBeouf, in which she claims there was tremendous verbal and physical abuse. Sitting down for her first television interview with CBS This Morning, 33-year-old British singer-songwriter and actress states that the 34-year-old Transformer star was a manipulator, and for that reason, she did not believe or accept a blanket apology LaBeouf issued last December after she filed the lawsuit against him. Barnett made international headlines when she filed the lawsuit, which includes claims of sexual battery, assault, and emotional distress. LaBeouf has since denied all the allegations. Of course he has, but he responded at the time. I've been abusive to myself and everyone around me for years. I have a history of hurting the people closest to me. I'm ashamed of the history and sorry to those I hurt. There is nothing else I really can say. The outline in the lawsuit, Burnett reiterated that LaBeouf sought treatment and donated to charities that help victims of abuse. Now, in the story, he did not at that time until a little bit later today. Looks like he and his lawyers, they said that her claim was that she has not suffered any injury or damage as a result of his actions. Now, he also has admitted himself into treatment for obvious reasons. His CEAA no longer representing Shia LaBeouf filing claims of sexual battery. Now, this is kind of a follow-up to the story. Sources say LaBeouf checked into inpatient treatment over a month ago, and that the decision to step away from acting in the entertainment business was made then. Embattled actor Shia LaBeouf will no longer be wrapped by talent agency CAA, the Hollywood Reporter had just confirmed. Sources say LaBeouf checked into the inpatient treatment over a month ago, and that the decision to stay away from acting was made then, and he remains in treatment according to sources. So he's still there. Now, we know he's done some crazy stuff throughout the years. You know, he's been in and out. He's done crazy things. He's almost pulled the Charlie Sheen. Jesus. What do I want to say? The Tiger Blood incident. I mean, he just went off the rails. And he keeps to come back, and he still keeps getting acting gigs. So we'll see. The news of LaBeouf and CA comes as several other talents have been dropped by their representation following allegations of sexual abuse and controversy. CA dropped Marilyn Manson, which we reported on, after Evan Rachel Wood came forward with allegations of abuse, while WME dropped Armie Hammer amid controversy over graphic messages he allegedly sent several women over social media, which stated that he was into cannibalism and he wanted to barbecue someone. Poor talent agencies. What is going on? All right. I didn't know where to put this because this wasn't going to be strange news, and it is kind of Hollywood gossip news. So we did not report originally, as I stated before, about the Gorilla Glue girl, but she's back in the news. Go figure. So Tessica Brown's Gorilla Glue ordeal is not over. Her attempt to pay it forward is getting blocked because too many people think she's a fraud. Now, this story is coming out from TMZ. Tessica is planning to donate $20,000 to the lion's share of the money in her GoFundMe account. So this is what I'm saying. Fake or not, somebody's dumb enough to put Gorilla Glue on instead of their hairspray, and then expects that it's just going to come off. It's called Gorilla Glue. People. Yes, I did the William Shatner pause. Dramatic. Oh my. I mean, what? Who? I want to know if any of you are listening. I want to know if you're any of those people that donated to this girl's GoFundMe account. It's ridiculous. But anyway, it's going to a charitable organization that provides reconstructive surgery. But now she can't withdraw the cash. Tessica say the GoFundMe has frozen the account after it got flooded with claims she pulled a fast one. As you probably know, there's conspiracy theory out there that Tessica did not really Gorilla Glue her hair, and she cooked this this all up to milk internet for sympathy, though, which a lot of people do. Again, why do people pay for it? Why? Why do you feel sorry for idiots? Sources with direct knowledge told TMZ GoFundMe has asked Tessica for an update on where the $23,000 in the account will be donated. We're told that she provided that info and is now waiting for a response. When she first set up the fundraiser to cover medical costs, she only asked for $1,500. But as the saga dragged on for more than a month, the money kept coming. Tessica's donation is going to the Restore Foundation, as I stated before, as we first reported. Dr. Michael Oben, who got the glue out of Tessica's hair for free, is reaping the benefits as well. His Beverly Hills practice has been flooded with new customers for regular plastic surgery, not glue removal. Now, if it's a fraud, don't you just get the doctor's notice? Or is the doctor in on it too? So he's making some money. She made $23,000. Does she get to take the money out, or does she electronically take it from the GoFundMe to put it into the charitable donation? But again, people, why are you paying for idiots? Why? Today's birthday is hip-hop icon and chief architect of West Coast gangster rap and co-owner of Death Row Records. I should have got that music intro in a little bit quicker there, but we're going to do that right now.
Like this, and I'm Drake creep to the mic like a fan.
Well, I'm peeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping, but I damn near got caught.
He also won numerous Grammy Awards, including one for Best Rap Solo Performance for Let Me Ride in 1984. He's also notably credited for discovering and supporting Eminem, and in May 2014, he sold his Beats by Dre headphones to Apple for over $13 billion. Dr. Dre turns 56 today.
This selection symbolizes don't take a toke, but don't choke. If you do, you have no clue of what me and my homie Snoop Dogg came to do.
Actor who starred in 1970 film The Saturday Night Fever in Grease, later went on to play Vincent Vega in the critically acclaimed 1994 film Pulp Fiction, and also Welcome Back Kotter. I don't know if any of you are old enough to know who Welcome Back Kotter is, but awesome show. John Travolta turned 67 today. What else? An actor who was prominent acting roles include There's Something About Mary, Herbie Fully Loaded, The Outsiders, and You, Me, and Dupree. Actor Matt Dillon turns 57. What happened to him? He fell off, literally fell off. I think he fell. Yeah, he fell hard. I haven't heard from him in years. Actress and television personality best recognized as the hostess and the vowel toucher. That sounds a little weird. On Wheel of Fortune, Vanna White turned 64. And she's still doing it. I cannot believe that. Other birthdays, drummer Robbie Bachman of Bachman Turner Overdrive is 68. Actress Sybil Shepherd turns 71. And lastly, actress Molly Ringwald turns 53. And that is today's Hollywood happenings. Molly Ringwald, what happened to her? What happened to Sybil Shepherd? What was that? What was the show? Up your nose with a rubber hose. Yeah, right. Moonlighting with Bruce Willis. I used to love that show, but again, I haven't seen or heard from her in years as well. Getting back to one of our questions as far as movie theaters and theaters we're talking about, one of our listeners is asking, I wonder if drive-in theaters did well last year. Well, I can tell you locally, and some of the ones that I know from Jersey actually did quite well, Rob. They did things outside the box, even though there was no new movies were. Wow, I'm tongue-tied tonight. No new movies were shown. They did other things. They did special screenings. There was Pop Culture Night where there's, screenings of Star Wars and Back to the Future. They also rented out the drive-in theaters for places that could hold, you couldn't do graduations or parties on school grounds. So to keep social distancing, they did the graduations and parties at the drive-in theaters. You also could rent the theater for events. I know some people have done live concerts through drive-ins where they were doing it, and the drive-in theaters were pushing like Metallica did one. I believe Green Day might have done one as well through the summer, where you could go to the drive-in theater and watch a live concert on the big screen, and it's coming through your car stereo. Most of the drive-in theaters are upgraded, not having the old speakers on your window. But yeah, I think they did quite well, there were pop-up ones, like some malls, some of the malls that were closed. I believe it was in Jersey or Massachusetts. The parking lots, the organizers set up pop-up drive-ins. Bring big inflatable screens, pop that up. Had a couple food trucks, and they did the like pop culture screenings or old time classic movies and whatnot. So I think they did all right. You might see that growing more and more too, just because of social distancing. I mean, it's totally social distancing. You're in a car. I know a lot of people won't be, they don't, the snack bars aren't necessarily open, but I'm sure they wouldn't care at that point if you brought your own food and came in. So, but we'll keep you up to date on that. I think, like I said, I think that's gonna be the new thing this year, coming up, is the fact of, excuse me, of social distancing. Again, in your comments, if you're watching live or in the audio version of this when it comes out, let me know. Are you going to be comfortable enough to go back to the theater? And is it really that important? I can be honest with you. I know that even before COVID, it's very rare for me to go to the movies. I don't think I went at all in 2020. I think 2019 I went to, and it was probably a Marvel movie. I went to 1 or 2 Marvel movies. In 2018, I maybe went to maybe the Spider-Man movie, but it takes a lot for me to go there. I mean, the cost is expensive, and I think as I get older, the big screen experience has kind of lost its oomph with me. It's not as majestic anymore as it used to be. I don't know. Maybe it's the kid in me that enjoyed it, but excuse me. I just, I got a nice size TV, a little sound system. I'm comfy on my couch, and I don't know. Again, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to go back to the theaters, or is it the day of the theater done with? I'd like to know what you think in the comments below. And if you're just joining us, it is the Thursday edition of Today with DW. And why are you just joining us? You should know it starts at 6:30 Tuesday through Friday. Come on. Tomorrow, as I stated, we'll have a Food Town segment. But Lewis is out. He isn't feeling well. Plus, it's his birthday tomorrow. So if you know Lewis Perry, make sure to give him a shout out on Facebook. Tell him happy birthday. So he won't be here tomorrow. So it won't be a true pop culture. I will try to throw in some pop culture stuff for that episode, and probably maybe in Hollywood happenings or whatnot. Maybe just throw something funny in the junk drawer, since we haven't done the junk drawer in a while. But we're gonna have Food Town as well. But yeah, I think he's going to be out for a couple more weeks. He's got a lot of stuff going on the back end, so he needed some time. And obviously, he wanted to celebrate his birthday and not have to be worried about it. I'm sure his wife Rose is going to get him some more toys. If you ever seen Lewis on our show and watched the video feed, that man has more toys than 20 kids I know. I don't get it. I don't get me wrong. It's the pot calling the kettle black. I don't have as much as he does, but it's crazy. Like, he needs like a whole house. I think he's a closet hoarder. That's what he says. He's a collector. I think there's a fine line between collecting and hoarding. Yes, I agree with you. There's definitely a fine line between the collecting and hoarding. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight's edition of Today with DW. I hope you guys have a great Thursday. I hope you guys are going to enjoy your Friday and the weekend. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, I got to say thank you to our sponsors, Body Armor, drinkbodyarmor.com. Visit them for a location near you. The Shirt Factory, shirtfactorygf.com, and also Chase Sports Complex. Visit them at chasesportscomplex.com. I can't thank them enough for all our sponsors. And now I can say, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.